Hey guys, welcome back. Bolt Spider here, and today we're going to be going over my ban list predictions. Now, I'm going to be doing this in a different order where you're going to go from unlimited to forbidden. So we're going to go from 3, 2, 1, 0. So let's get right into it and talk about the three that we all know that's going to probably come off. Danger Nessie, Skull Crobat, and Teleport, they all follow the Konami pattern of going from 1 to 2 to 3. So these can definitely come off the next list. Another card that can come off the list is Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This card can go straight to 3 without any implications because no one's running this. Dragon Link's not even running it. I think Dragon Link runs 1 copy max. Even then, some builds don't even run it because we don't have LP anymore. So definitely keep this on your radar. If it comes off the list, that's going to be nice. Then we have Draco Face Off, the Forgotten card. It's a Draco Slayer, Draco Overlord card, and they put Luster Pendulum back at least a year ago to 3. And this card definitely can come off the list because it's not going to do anything. Then we have Wall of Revealing Light. This card is just sitting there, rotting away, doing nothing. Because the last time it was played was back in like 2010 or 2009. I don't know. I don't remember when, but it's been on the list for quite a long time. Next is Diagnostic Emerald. This is another card that definitely can come off the list because no one's going to run it. Zodiac are near dead, but still kicking. But still, no one's going to invest 2 level 4s into it. And with hand traps like Ash, DD Crow, and many others roaming around, I definitely don't think it's going to do anything. Then we have the 2 controversial ones. We have Spellbook of Judgment. I've been testing this a lot with my friends, and Spellbook of Judgment still doesn't do anything anymore. I even have a full pledge video on it, which I can link down in the description below if you guys want to see or hear me talk about this card. And finally, with me hitting a few cards that are on the list, I'm putting back Beatrice of the Eternal back to 3. Now, this is all unlimited, so putting Beatrice back to 3 really doesn't do anything because the only deck that plays it is Drytron and Hero if you want to count that, but Beatrice going to 3, I definitely say, because I do have a few hits that counteract this unlimit with other things, as the next thing we're going to be going up to is into the semi-limit section, which the first card is Infernity Archfiend to 2. With Infernity Archfiend, I definitely see that Infernities haven't been doing anything within the past year that it's gotten support, so I definitely have to say this card 100% can come back to 2, even to 3. And it will help the deck, but really not that much because Infernity Launcher is the main problem of it, as it summons back 2 every time you send it to the graveyard. Also discards a card from your hand so it can trigger cards. After that, we have Dark Grepher. Speaking about discarding cards from hand, you need to discard 2 cards to fully resolve these effects. You need to discard 1 to summon it from your hand, that's a level 5 or higher. You need to discard a Dark from your hand to the graveyard to send a Dark from the hand to the graveyard. You are investing 2 cards into 1 single card, and out of the 2 being Grepher and Armageddon, this is the worst card, and I've been asking for this to come to 2 for quite some time, because I definitely don't see it's going to be doing anything, and it also promotes the Dark World Structure Deck Reloaded if Konami does it in 2022. So that is one thing to definitely think about. After that, we have Danger Tsuchinoko. Either this or Jackalope can come to 2 next, as I feel like dangers are just going to be coming off the list left and right because they're not really going to be doing anything. People have decided, oh yeah, Nessie's back at 2, still not going to play it. With something like this, I definitely have to say that sure, it helps things like Burning Abyss and Phantom Knights, but putting dangers back at 3 will change how people deck build, because I want a change in how deck building is. With Tsuchinoko and Jackalope, sure, they can help plays, but you're really dependent on RNG for them. If you don't open up a Tsuchinoko, Jackalope, Nessie, good on you. But if you don't, because most of the time I think you're just going to run 2 in the deck, 2 of each, it's going to be fine. Next up, we have Servant of Endymion. This card can go to 2, and it won't do anything because Endymion's not really doing anything. Pendulums aren't doing anything in general, so it's another card that can go to 3. Same with Spiral Resort. Since we have Master Plan banned, this card can come back to 2 and possibly 3. with the implication of Master Plan Band, that card was a +6 on its own, and with Spiral Resort, I could definitely see it coming off the list because of that reason. One quick fix is legal, Master Plan's banned, drones at 3 now, but giving them a little consistency boost won't hurt. Next up, we have a Hero Lives, same thing, giving heroes a consistency boost. It's still not going to do anything because heroes are just one of those decks that just lean in the shadows. They just got Destiny Hero support, which doesn't count towards a Hero Lives. Even though they have 3 Emergency Call and 1 Hero Lives, it still doesn't matter because they're running a small hero engine anyways of something like Stratos, and that's it. Is there any other heroes that they run? Because I'm not too sure. Afterwards, we have Reasoning. This card can go to 2, probably to 3, because no one's going to run this card. Infernities are going to run this card only. No, Infernoids. I guess you can run an Infernities, but Reasoning is just one of those cards that just has been left on the Forbidden Limited list. And if honestly, creative deck building. I really love creative deck building. Sure, you have to call a number between 1 or 12. If you're playing against Infernites, you're most likely going to call 1 so they don't summon out Decatron to dump a Devvati or Onuku. So that's one thing to think about. After that, we have Scapegoat. OCG has this to it at 2. We can bring it to 2, right? Yes. The reason is no one's going to play this card because it's super slow. And with it being slow, it's either going to get baited out with a Lightning Storm or Twin Twister, Cosmic Cyclone, and all the tokens get destroyed before you get to use them, or during your opponent's end phase, which they can actually still stop because at the end phase, it's going to be just negated because most decks run in a Omni Negate at the end of their combos outside of one deck, but that's really only one deck. Afterwards, we have Upstart Goblin, 38 card decks, let's go. But Upstart Goblin, I feel like, is one of those cards that's not going to do anything because we have better cards. We have Pot of Prosperity that digs down 6. We have Pot of Duality that digs 3. We have Pot of Desires that banishes 10 to draw 2. And finally, Pot of Extravagance to banish 6 from the extra deck to draw 2. I don't feel the need that this card could be on the list anymore. Into the Void, on the other hand, discards your whole hand. But Upstart Goblin prevents you from OTing K'ing quicker as your opponent gains 1,000. And it's just one of those things that is a trade-off. You draw 1 for your opponent to gain 1,000. So the game's going to be prolonged just a little bit. And yeah, those are the semi-limits. Let's get into the limited sections. Now, this is going to make a lot of people worried or a lot of people mad or laugh at me, but hear me out. Everyone's been wanting Blast of the Dragon Ruler's Inferno to come off. I definitely agree because it's the weakest of the 4, and I could definitely see in the future that all 4 of them will be off the list at 1, and people are like, oh, Dragon Link's going to play this. Let's remind you about Tempest. People tried Tempest and Dragon Link. It didn't work. It's going to be the exact same. And that's the theory with all the rest of the Dragon Rulers. All 4 of them can be that one existing, and no one's going to play them because they're slow. They're only 1 effect per turn, and it's one of those things like, why would I run this in decks? It gives utility for certain decks. Tempest has your Dragoonities. You have Blaster for Salad or any other fire deck. Tidal for Mermail, and Redox for Adamancipator, but I'm not going to run Redox and Adamancipator because Adamancipator Sign is just better, where you can summon out a blue rock, reveal, stack your deck, and draw that card because blue rock. And that's just better than Redox. And then we have Performapal Monkeyboard. Put this to 1. It is a Rhoda for a level 4 or lower Performapal monster from your deck if you put it in the scale. And the other effects are not even relevant because people only use it for the search effect. This is the same quota as Servant of Endymion. Pendulums aren't doing anything. They haven't done anything in 2 years. The last time that we saw them top was with Triff back in February of 2020 after the ban list. So give them a little love, see what happens. Now, I'll split between 3 cards for the next one. Tri-Brigade, Fractal, Revolt, or Shurag. I originally had Omen and Revolt to 1 because it limits your options for how many Shurags you can use and you have to use your revolt wisely. So if you already used up the one omen, you really can't go into the second one because of that. Sure, you can get a banish if you have that omen on the field, but I feel like Fractal might be the correct hit now because you're on 3 of this, 3 Nerval, 1 Karis as an engine. I see OCG playing 3 Fractal, 3 Nerval as an engine because it's that good. And Fractal feels like the one that could get hit because it's a Foolish Burial that sends another Foolish Burial that sends a Rhoda that sends a special summon. Or that as a special summon, so you're getting 3 cards off of 1 card for card advantage, and you're going to discard whatever to summon out Karis for a link 4 or 3 or 2. So I feel like Fractal's definitely the correct hit. After that, one of the cards I've been wanting back ever since January of 2020, Orcs Harpor to 1. This is not going to do anything. Orcs is just that one deck that just sits there, and sure, it has some tops here and there, but I feel like it's definitely time for it to come back. Same thing that people say, oh, Orcus has a 1-card combo. Well, not really, because Mermaid's banned, and we have many other things that are on the list because of Orcus that they can't really use. Sure, you can splash Orcus in any deck if Horror was actually a thing, but remember, it's Orcus. They're not that good as they once were. Even with Grisu, the Orcus Mech Knight, it definitely matters if we have this or not, because I was excited for Grisu, but then they gave Orcus the axe like they did every other deck. They brought back Engage, they brought back Stalio. This is just a dark version of Stalio for Orcus. So, yeah, I could see it coming back. Lunalight Tiger is one of my iffy ones, as it's a reborn for multiple times, but the last time that we saw Lunalight was in April, or before the April list. So I definitely have to say, this, just banning this just killed the deck. And put it to 1 to see what happens. If it becomes a problem again, just ban it or hit another card around it that's in the Lunalight deck. But I'd rather restore something that Lunalight's lost. And a lot of cards that were lost too, because Thunder Dragon Colossus, no one's going to run a Cupid Pitch corridor thing. It's already proven right now that no one's going to run it because it's super fragile and it dies to 1 hand trap. And most players are running 9 hand traps nowadays. Thunder Dragon Colossus is a protection on itself on top of a Floodgate. But I feel like no one's going to really run Thunder Dragon because it's at 1. It is a utility piece at that point. After that, we have Denlong. Why is this on the list again? Oh, it searches out a negate. Cool. What else was I gonna say about this card? Oh yeah, that's right. Ying Zings don't do anything. Sword Souls aren't gonna run it, and we have mediocre decks that can run this, but not going to. After that, we have Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. I just don't want people to stack Zeus on top of Zeus because that's kind of broken. Tellarknight Ptolemaeus. No one's going to invest 3 level 4s into a rank up of a non-number monster like a Cyber Dragon Infinity or Concealer Playdays anymore, because Eldritch does that job better of just going into Concealer Playdays. Many decks have better compulses like the Lyralist monster, the Exceed. You also have many other things as well. After that, we have Wind Up Party Boat, Carriers, and Matey. Well, give Wind Up something, they will do stuff with 1, but definitely don't think it's going to be a problem. Because Wind Ups are a dated deck, and sure, they can still do stuff today, but I definitely don't see them doing a lot, that's for sure. And finally, for my Lyralist hit, Recital Starling to 1. You make 2 for the combo to go into an F0, and whatever else you have left, you go into Insome Bloom Robin. If you minus this, they have to go into something like an Independent Nightingale so they can overlay those 2. And this definitely hurts that play of line, so they have to, instead of going into 2 recitals for an F0, they have to go into something else with a recital to hope to do stuff. And finally, we're going into the forbidden section of my predictions. It is rather small, but definitely one thing to take a look at. Artifact Scythe, get this thing out of here. I don't want to see it again. This always pops up and causes problems. Now it's more of a problem because Phantom Knights are going to run it, and we're getting Brave Token the day that the ban list expires. So I don't want to see Brave and Scythe in the same format ever. Next up is either or. Either you can ban Eva or you can ban Ben 10. It's one of the two. Eva stops the multiple negations, but also Ben 10 just kills the whole fairy engine for Drytron. So you either hit Ben 10 or you hit Eva. If they do hit Ben 10, that would be better, but if they do hit Eva, that's fine. Next up, Imperial Order. Don't know why this has been banned yet. This card just shuts off a whole entire type, as we've seen in the past. Calamities turns off entire type of card. Shockmaster turns off all three. As a Thought shuts off another. Zexal shuts off another. So it's more so, why is this a thing? It's still illegal. After that, Prankin' Man Mew. I kind of don't want Brave PK to be running about, but this type of Brave PK, Prankin'. So that's one thing to definitely consider on that. And my final card I would like banned. Predaplant versus Anaconda. People say, oh, ban Red Eyes Fusion, ban Dragoon. I would rather just ban Verte at this point, because this is the card that makes it where every deck has an access to said card, being Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer or Dragoon. Dragoon hasn't been played at all anymore because Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. This is a card that allows pretty much every deck just to make it. If you ban this, it has to rely on you to hard draw the card, which is Fusion Destiny, because you could just activate it at the end. But before I get onto a tangent or anything, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and tell me your thoughts of the cards going to 3, 2, 1, 0. But anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. I hope you guys did enjoy, and see you guys in the next video.